What's up, dude? How you doing? Good to see you, Dad.
Dude, I bought some beer too.
Really? Yeah. Oh, dude, I brought you this stuff. Oh, yeah, dude, why not? What's up, dude? I know, I passed it, and then I turned. I found another parking spot. I know, I saw that. I was like, oh, bummer. Prime real estate.
Stop wasting my time. You said you were at the fair when you called me.
I'm Adrian Huerta. For this episode of On the Inside Looking In, we're in Los Angeles, California with artist and DJ Eduardo Gomez. Problem solving to creatively express an idea is a mastery Eduardo has attained. Growing up in Long Beach, California, being a first-generation immigrant, and having a passion for music manifests through his work. We start in the dining area of his West Adams apartment, surrounded by his previous artworks and a box of beer. Hey, thanks for letting me come to your pad, dude, and hang out. And dude, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, man. I come bearing gifts. I bring you a box of beer because you know I'm a Texas guy. I brought you some Shiners.
All right.
But I heard that you like flavor in your beer.
Sometimes.
And Shiner has a lemon pilsner, and I haven't tried it yet, and so I kind of figured we might buy some of those. We got a cherry, tree spirit, and then a Larry's latest, fruit night, and then a strawberry lager. So I'm gonna pop up with this Shiner, this lemon pilsner.
I have a glass here, so I guess
Yeah.
strawberry. This is
Are you a strawberry guy? Did I do okay?
I like the strawberry blonde
Okay.
from Belmont Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one in Long Beach.
Yeah, dude, you're a Long Beach guy.
Yeah.
Now, do you like it specifically because you're from Long Beach, or do you just like
it's
it
good.
because you got
and
it?
I don't like normally flavored beers.
Okay, cool. So
But
I did
no.
bad.
No.
I did terrible. Awesome. Thanks, dog. Good. Then
Hey,
you can have the Shiners then. There you go.
No,
They're
but when you said flavored beer, I was like, well, that's kind of cool. Like I get to try some that I've never had. So like this sounds really good.
Who knows?
Really cool.
You might like something. That
I'm
you've
sure
never
I'll
had
like
before.
some. I'm sure I'll like
It's
some.
beer, so
Yes,
whatever.
it is beer.
But yeah, man. So, dude, this is trippy though. I like coming to your pad because you have a lot of decoration that's yours. Like you specifically
Yes, sir.
decorate your pad. You have everything. You have neon lights. You have sculpture. You have drawings. You have paintings. Some highlighted more than others. Now, the way you decorate your pad, do you have favorites?
A lot of the stuff that's up is stuff that I've had in shows that I already have framed. I need a place to stash them, so I was like, I gotta leave them out. You know, I can't just, like, where would I put this plane? Like in my garage? No way.
Yeah, yeah, man. I love this sculpture. It's licensed to ill. The Beastie Boys cover in 3D. Right?
Yes.
It's a sculpture straight up. But every time I come to your house, the lights are off.
Yep.
And they're on now. Like they're blinking. It looks like a plane is literally flying in your wall.
I finally got them working. That sculpture is based off of like the first album I remember ever listening to or being into as a kid.
Wow.
I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
So License to Ill is like a very, very important record for me in my life. Yeah.
Well, I noticed that a lot of your art is album based. You know, your background is fine art. Your bachelor's is in fine art from Cal State Long Beach, correct?
Yes.
And then your master's is from CCA, so
California College of the Arts. Yeah.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
And this was definitely like a very ambitious piece, but I, rolled up my sleeves and put in the work.
It looks like I see some of the metallic colors. I obviously see the LED lights, but it's also crashed into the wall. I don't imagine that it's heavy, right? As metallic as it looks.
No.
What is this made of, and what makes it easily available to put on the wall?
It's all made of cardboard and paper, paper mache, basically. Glue, watered down glue, just brushing it on, building up layers.
It sounds like is that like piñata?
Yeah, it's pretty much a big piñata, just without the tissue paper.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just all the layering, just, cardboard and paper is pretty easy to manipulate with water or glue to where you can shape it in so many different forms. Like all those crashed areas that look like a, put out cigarette. Mm-hmm. Those were all just pretty much sheets of this cardboard paper that I just dampened. I soaked in glue and I just kind of pushed it together.
Really?
Creased it all together, bunched it, I scrunched it onto the cone, body of the
Yeah.
plane. And then after that, pretty much just priming it up,
Yeah.
airbrushing, painting, trying to get all the little details. The lights were already working prior to any of the paint, but tried to bring this album cover, which is 2D, into just like into life, kind of. Just
I think you did an amazing job, dude. It's trippy. It's huge too. It's like maybe 2.5 feet long,
like
2 feet long, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything inside of it?
The wiring, and that's pretty much it. Just the wiring. And at the end of it, the exhaust is actually part of a muffler. I just went to AutoZone, and I saw these mufflers, and I was like, "Whoa, this one looks about the size."
Yeah.
And I came home, and it just slid right in, like
Perfect?
yeah.
Damn.
It was a trip.
That's awesome. Oh, so you made the cone first, and you needed something to kind
Yeah, I needed the part of the plane,
Dude, that's
the
sick.
engine in the back, and then the engines are actually made of rolls of toilet paper.
Hell yeah, dude! Wow, a muffler, toilet paper, but it all just meshes so well together. Dude,
I mean,
so
you
sick.
got to do what you got to do to make those shapes.
Yeah, man. And then this actually premiered where?
It premiered at Espacio 1839 in Boyle Heights.
You see this iconic album that
you,
is musically phenomenal.
Yes.
Right?
Oh man, definitely historic in the realm of hip hop.
Yeah.
First all white group to break into hip hop and rap. I mean, you had to come with it, and you had to be good to make it and be accepted into hip hop.
Yeah. If you're gonna pop out, and you're gonna be, in a predominantly, African American art form.
Yes.
And you want to be white, you had to pop out, and to do it in '86, like.
Yes.
You're
that was,
crossing.
It was revolutionary. It really was. They were the first.
You're Mexicano, Chicano,
Yes.
Mexican American.
Yep.
Right? How do you
I'm a Mexicano.
Mexicano? How does that work?
I'm a first generation Mexican American. Grew up with all Mexican customs, traditions, foods, For most of my life, I've considered myself Mexican because, I mean, that's what I grew up with, just on this side of the fence, the wall.
Yeah. But I guess this sculpture kind of embodies that, don't you think?
Well,
I mean, it's American music with like a Mexican celebration.
I mean, yeah, I think the Mexican part of it is just kind of based on the process that I use. But I mean, I totally could see the parallel there. And, it, I don't know, maybe that was something. I do remember, seeing the way piñatas were made growing up from all these broken ones that I would run to.
Yeah.
And that's one of those kind of materials you use early on as a kid. Like, doing the Easter eggs or,
the
just
paper mache on top of.
Yeah, you blow up a balloon,
Yeah.
put glue and start paper mache, then you pop the balloon, and then you have a sculpture,
Yeah.
round form. So, a lot of it, it's a little bit of everything, I guess.
Now, this isn't the first sculpture we've talked about. Like,
No.
you've done another sculpture that was implemented in another show in East LA, in Boyle Heights again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
You're talking about the Pendleton?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that got robbed.
Yeah, man, that's messed up, dude.
You know what? I thought it was super flattering, actually.
Okay.
Like
Sick.
someone wanted it that bad that they had to like literally steal it from wherever it was.
I mean, for people that didn't get to see it, what is it made of? What was it?
It was a flannel Pendleton, a very, I guess, cultural gang shirt, Raiders colors, and it was a shirt made out of canvas. So I just, airbrushed the shirt made out of canvas, and just folded it all together.
Yeah.
And it looked like a legit shirt.
Yeah, I remember I did a piece on it. Well,
I mean, it was a legit shirt. I paid someone to make that shirt for me
really?
out of canvas. Yeah.
Wow. What do you mean you paid somebody to make it? Like the shirt that you modeled
Yeah.
it off of?
Yeah. So I had the idea. I don't know how to make a shirt. So
Okay.
I had to do what I had to do.
Okay.
You hire someone, you pay them, and they would it was a coworker that I she went to Academy of Art
Okay.
for fashion. So
Yeah.
she had all those kinds of projects all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So she basically made it for one of her projects, but I paid her for it.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
then-
it's no different than,
Yeah.
other aspects of art.
Yeah.
Like, can you fabricate this
Yeah, of
for
course.
me to do,
I mean, come on. The biggest artists are not there with a chisel and a hammer.
Yeah, by themselves all.
Yeah, Murakami is not.
Yeah.
It's more of the concept idea. I mean, that's...
But then also
you know.
the painting, which is probably the hardest part, to make it look like something it's not.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I did the piece and I interviewed you, I was surprised at the idea that it was not a real shirt.
Yeah, it's a sculpture. It's a painting. You could argue it's a painting because it's on canvas and it is painted.
It is.
So it's, you know, it's kind of a 2-in-1.
Yeah. Now, again, why did you do that one, and for what show was it?
And it was for the Eastside Story
It was
project.
like a fundraiser, right?
Yeah.
It was like to help raise money to get the documentary going, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the one that reached out and said I wanted to participate in it. I think it was, you know, part of a culture that I was very familiar with growing up as a kid. So I always loved those compilations, even as a little kid growing up, and you know, always listening to oldies, and it's something that should be talked about or made relevant because it's.
But that's you growing up, like you kind of grow up with it, and then there's these new kids, right? Because those albums are old.
Yes.
Those albums are very old. But now there's newer people trying to bring up the subject, like the Eastside Story Project that wants to do the documentary to bring up the covers and how they got made. But you yourself curate stuff too.
Yeah, I do.
But we're not playing though. Like we're not playing. Like I get really excited when, you know, cool, this is a really cool playlist. But then you actually look at the outreach that it has with the number of plays that you have on SoundCloud.
Oh yeah,
dude,
it's
that
crazy.
is insane.
People listen to those. I mean, people love the music, and it's kind of like interesting to see that. Yeah, to make a documentary and like hear the backstory of all this music and the history is like really exciting.
You're a music curator, like you're a DJ.
Yes.
You are 1/3 of Metraleta de Oro, known as DJ Fondo.
Yes.
You have DJ nights with the guys, with Diego and Sumo. Dinamita every third Fridays, right, in Lincoln Heights.
Yes.
At the office, but then you also do offset stuff by yourself as Fondo. Dude, how'd you get your name? This doesn't have to make the podcast.
Oh, Fondo?
Yeah.
Oh.
I want to know this shit.
Fondo, it has different meanings.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So when you look up Fondo,
There's different meanings.
Yeah.
There's depth. There's money. Like Fondo, like Fondos.
Yeah.
And then it's also like a figure of speech, background. But that's fine. I don't mind being in the background.
Okay.
That's
But
not a bad thing.
which form
Fondo-
form of Fondo do you use and why?
There's this figure of speech that that people say, no, pues, or just like describing hasta el fondo. Like that always stood out to me as a kid. Like, no, ya está hasta el fondo. Like, I don't know, it always stood out. But I kind of like the way the name looks spelled as well.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
I like the letters in it.
Okay.
Like the F, just how it looks aesthetically, kind of. So that.
You just straight up draw it out. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I just like the way it looks spelled out. You know, all caps. Or you could add a $sign at the end of it, and it'll be. Because fondo is one, money-wise, un fondo is like one fund. So, like, I mean, I am one, so fondo. But fondos is like more like baller, like fondos.
I almost think that this might be a password to something that you have.
It might be.
Yeah. Dude.
Don't ask me what my Wi-Fi password is.
Your artistry doesn't just come with like appreciating music like that, it's also sharing it as well.
Yeah,
right?
sharing music. Life for me is always has been about music and art. So those are still very, very two prominent things in my life that I don't ever see not being a part of my life. It always has been. I feel comfortable around it. It makes me feel like I'm home, or just like I just feel this comfort like doing these things. Like, I mean, listening to music every day is very, very soothing. It's very relaxing. Making art is very therapeutic. It's very, so, you know, those two things have always made me feel good. So those are two things that I continue to do.
And I mean, you kind of sort of show support to the music by creating art, by drawing and coloring, and making sculptures.
Yeah, and it's just like my love of music has inspired my art, you know, and kind of vice versa, you know, with DJing and kind of finding a way to like interesting ways to mix one song into another, or a lot of it is problem solving, really.
What do you mean by problem solving?
Like, you have this idea, right? Like this BC Boys, the plane. Like, I wanted to make something to represent or celebrate that, and I had to find a creative way to kind of translate the 2D to the 3D. So I had to think it through to see if I could actually do it.
Yeah.
or how else I was going to kind of commemorate this important record in my life. So that was the way I did it.
That's right. Where's the artistry in curating playlists and mixing music and sharing it with other people?
I think it's the challenge of doing it live. It's almost like a performance. Like you want to be on point. You want to come correct and make sure all your levels are good. It's kind of the same thing. It's finding creative ways like to problem solve certain kind of in DJing situations or moments.
You know, are you trying to get people to feel a certain way?
Yeah, I mean, depends on where you DJ and what the vibe is, but definitely, I mean, like DJing, I like, let's say Dinamita, where people like dance and the pressure's there to keep them dancing.
Yeah. So you're vibing off the people, right?
Yes.
Like you're kind
certain places, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on like I said, the night, the vibe, you know. Definitely like a certain sense of reciprocity, I guess.
Okay.
So where, they vibe off of what you're playing, and then you're vibing off them dancing or how into the music or what you're doing, that.
So then when you do curate this, like I noticed that you have a ton of records in your house, if you don't mind me describing what I see.
Describe what you see.
Yeah, so there's a little, we're in West Adams in Los Angeles, and you have this, what kind of architecture do you think this has? Because
this almost has like a craftsman style.
Yeah, because it's a deep room that you walk into. So it goes living room into
the dining
area, but they're almost the same size, and there's a huge open space to walk in. But then also there's a little cubby that has, I see 2 decks. I see a ton of shelves with records in them, and a lot of memorabilia, some of your art. I remember this poster that you jacked. The yellow one, dude, the Elvis Crespo.
That was when we were at the Union.
Yeah, down the street.
Yeah.
Do you mind if we talk about this painting that's on your wall right here?
No.
This one right here, right out the restroom.
This is one of the first paintings I did when I was in grad school at CCA. I was living in San Francisco. I had just moved out there. I didn't really know a lot of people. Still learning the city. I came out of undergrad doing a lot of work based on like immigrant, like day laborers.
Okay.
So I was doing a lot of work based on that. So when I got to grad school, it kind of like those ideas were kind of still there. So I took the time to actually get to know a few that I met that used to wait out at a U-Haul right out next to the grad facilities at CCA. I parked kind of by them one time and I just
started talking.
Yeah, like just greeted them or something. And then the next time, like if I saw them, I just slowly kind of built a relationship with them and started talking to them. And I was doing these interviews with them. And what I was doing is I was taking all the answers to all these questions and creating paintings based on the interview with letters. But the actual letters were all going to be like a portrait of them.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
So almost like pixels, but each pixel had a letter.
Oh.
So, but it was telling you their story. So, but it was concealing their identity at the same time. So you knew everything about these people, but you couldn't see who they were.
That's amazing. Dude, that's trippy.
So they were telling you their whole story. So I was literally painting each little letter.
How big were the letters?
Mixing colors. They were probably about an inch by an inch.
Okay.
Or no, maybe 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay. So they were okay size, but it was like I had to paint
each
pixels
one, dude,
and mix colors.
Yeah.
That was taking too long. I found other ways to kind of abstract them, abstract their faces.
Yeah.
So I started just drawing them with my left hand.
So that's why you started drawing with your left hand?
That's why I first started drawing with my left hand. So I started drawing with my left hand so I can kind of distort their face and figure a little bit because it wasn't all rendered. So I did this portrait of El Yuca, left-handed painting. That's the first one. And it was interesting because I wasn't sure like how they were gonna take it. Like me, hey, I want to know all this about
some random kid looking for info on stuff.
But I told them that I was going to the art school and I had to make this. I did a lot of work based on kind of like their situation because I mean, let's be real. I mean, they were out there looking for work and they understood and they were super cool. They were open. Like nice. It was very nice to kind of like build this relationship. And
that's a hard part of like helping document people and do a project like that is like you have to gain trust.
I had to ask them if I could take their photograph.
Yeah.
And that is
well, that's what I was going to ask you. Is this from memory or is this from
No, I asked if I could take their photograph. So what I was doing is I was pixelating their portraits, but I told them that I was never gonna like really show their face.
Dang. Do you still? Yeah. Was there any way to keep in touch with him? Is he?
Nah,
When was the last time you saw him?
I don't know. Probably outside of CCA.
Wow.
I have some other drawings of others that I met, so I kind of drew like a group that I would always see and got to know. And
Now, this isn't normally a group of people that would normally get remembered, right?
no. I mean, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, Yuka could be CEO of
Some big
you know,
company.
whatever
Yeah.
right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is that this work feels more relevant than it ever has in the last like 10 years that I've had it.
Did you ever get to show this to them? Did they ever get to see this?
Well, this was when I was still just getting started there, so I never really had a show based on all this.
Okay.
This was just kind of work that carried over from undergrad, you know, and then I started making this. I had to work on my grad show, so then I started Coco.
It's oversized. Like if this was in real life, he would be like
Yeah,
8.5 feet tall.
That's still
and
distorting it, the
Yeah.
scale. Like
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
walking up to it, it's like
when you're standing in front of it, it's like literally three
Right, looking
times
at
the
your
size of your
eyes, right.
head, but maybe like 3.5 times.
Yeah.
And it's his bust only.
looking straight at you.
Yeah, man.
As soon as you walk out of my bathroom.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, dude, well, damn it, dude. All right, time for another beer. Let's get another beer.
Yes.
That's amazing. Dude,
Like,
that's
what
awesome.
were you doing in there?
Yeah, what? Yeah, dude, I feel guilty every time I go.
It's like,
So I had this Shiner Lime. It was all right.
I'm gonna try this Shiner Bock. I don't think I've ever had this. I've seen it.
You never had a Shiner Black?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Just one of those that slip through the cracks.
That's a place just outside of San Antonio. That's huge in Austin and everywhere in San Antonio.
Nice.
So every time
no,
I
I've
see
seen
it-
it. I know
Dude,
the name. I
yeah.
just never had it.
You went to school. You went to go get your master's and stuff. Do you think education was one of the best things that you could have invested in?
It has its pros. Grad school's really about obviously taking your interest to the next level academically. But I mean, there's a lot that comes with it. I mean, there's obviously school debt, but there's also like this network that you kind of build. It kind of teaches you the business side of art. So you're learning about, you know, websites, and
Yeah.
you're learning about
Branding,
resumes,
marketing,
all
yeah.
that. And it's good because it prepares you for the real world. I mean, once you're out of school, you're on your own. You have to hustle. You have to do. No one's there to kind of babysit you. You know. So they prepare you for the real world.
I mean, you are educationally accomplished. I mean, to get your master's is such a big deal, man.
I mean, it's like, I mean, now that's like the new bachelor's though, because the bachelor's, they're saying that doesn't mean anything these days. And that was 9 years ago, going on 9 years. I mean, that's definitely changed over the years. But I mean, I think it's important more for also, I think, for your work, just to kind of see how seriously you want to take it and push your ideas and kind of experiment more. Yeah. It's like 2 years to kind of just do whatever you want, where undergrad is more, you know, you have projects due.
So that wouldn't you say that kind of makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do? Like if you take a certain class that you don't have any skills, or and like it makes you do that. Like say you didn't do photography, you take a course, it makes you get into that realm and put that out. Right?
Oh man, I mean that's why I've done sculpture, I've done painting, drawing, printmaking.
So when you were
ceramics, photography, I've taken
all that.
all of that.
Yeah. So then when you were in Long Beach and you did fine art, is there anything that you didn't get to do there that you did in your master's that made you kind of...
No, it kind of, I did everything before grad school, and then in grad school I just got to utilize all my different skills that I learned.
Okay.
You know? Undergrad was, okay, I'm focusing on drawing and painting, but all my electives I'm taking are going to be everything. Yeah. So I'm taking, like I said, ceramics, printmaking. And printmaking, I took almost everything. I almost pretty much minored in it.
Really?
I took silk screening, etching, lithography. Did I say woodcuts? Or lino cuts, etching. All these different kind of mediums to just kind of do different kind of prints.
Yeah. So you had the ability of mixing them together now, right? So then let that take us to what's in there. Let's go talk about that.
Those are some drawings.
On your Eames chair?
That's not an Eames. That's a Eames replica. I can't afford a real Eames.
Okay, fair enough. So what's all this, dude? Like, it's just a bunch of, it looks like a bunch of papers wrapped up, right? Posters and things like that.
Just different drawings, posters that I've done. This is the Dinamita one. That's like on the gold poster board.
Straight
That's
up.
left-handed.
This is all left-handed?
Yeah, these are all left-handed.
So why do you carry on the left-handed thing? Like, you're not trying to hide an identity now?
No, I just think it's more kind of liberating. Where if I draw with my right hand, I know my right hand so well that I'll start rendering, like in school.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
Got it.
It's not fun. It's a lot of work. Like it's just too much. I'm not trying to copy something that much. This way, I'm kind of still abstracting naturally.
Yeah.
And I'm also like kind of incorporating the right side of my brain, which is the creative side.
Nurturing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just kind of, it makes me draw and like just whatever comes out. Kind of just no boundaries.
Yeah.
Like whatever goes.
Yeah.
It's the complete opposite of what you learn in school. And, school, it's fun, but it's like you don't want to be in school your whole life.
No.
So you have to find different ways to, kind of work or make something look a little more interesting or have more feeling or crudeness.
This silk screen. I saw you making these on Instagram. This is your boy, Salvador?
Yep, Salvador y el unicornio.
I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and that looks exactly like him.
That's him.
Dude, that's sick. You designed this and everything?
Yeah, well, I mean, I told him to send me some photos to
Okay.
kind of reference or kind of get an idea because we know we wanted to use his face. So I kind of went through them and I picked one I liked and that I felt I could kind of work something into.
Yeah.
So I blew that up and then I started just drawing onto the side of his head where it's all black, just with like a whiteout pen.
Mm-hmm.
So just started kind of sketching letters. And then eventually I made one that I liked and just burned a couple screens and, threw it in Photoshop and kind of arranged it. Added some other little details and then just burned the screen and printed them.
So then what material is this?
This is paper.
And a silk screen. How many layers is that?
It's 2. So just black and then just the flesh
Oh,
tone.
his skin. Got it.
Yeah, this one came out really cool because
Dude, on the brown? That's tight.
This was on the back of the sketch pad.
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta, when you're printmaking or screen printing, you have to do a lot of different runs until you get it going where you want it. And then that's when you print the actual paper.
Okay.
So this was one of the ones either that was left over, one of the early ones.
That's a good accident, huh?
This is a
Dude, that color profile, everything.
Yeah.
That all makes it so well.
Me and Diego kept one of these.
Tony Gwynn.
So this was based on a series of what I call them Eastsiders from Long Beach. So
dude.
Tony Gwynn actually went to Long Beach Poly, which is my home high school.
Okay.
I didn't go there because my parents didn't want me going there at the
Okay.
time because it was really, really bad school.
Okay.
So they shipped me off to school at Lakewood. This is, someone that pretty much was from Long Beach.
Yeah, that made it. And boy, did he make it, dude. What a batter.
Oh, he's
Dude,
one of the greatest.
killer.
One of the greatest.
Dude, all that detail from tops to even like the copyright of their logo.
Yeah, so
all
that's
tiny.
that's a left-handed one.
Left-handed pencil with watercolor? That's so sick.
Think so. Oh, this is Billie Jean King.
Oh, dude.
I didn't even know she went to Long Beach Poly until I researched it.
Oh, dude, that's at Wimbledon too. Left-handed,
Yeah.
watercolor pencils.
Watercolor and graphite, yeah.
You down with Shiner Bach?
Yeah,
Dude,
I like this.
Dude, talk the Long Beach boy about Shiner. Let's go. The man, the myth, the legend, dude.
Which one?
This dude.
Oh, Fernando?
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Is that left-handed too?
Yes, it is. That's the early ones, too.
Okay.
Fernando. I mean,
Yeah.
at the
Dude.
time, especially in the 80s at that time, with like, there was huge waves of Mexican immigration. I mean, obviously still to this day,
Yeah.
not as much.
Yeah.
Or as big numbers. But at the time, it was like, someone that like my dad looked to and became a fan like of the Dodgers. So
Yeah.
I grew up liking the Dodgers because of that.
Yeah. So this is left-handed, but you made this. But you also have like other ones of Fernando, right?
Yeah.
There's like other pieces that you've created. Is there any connection between that and like, being Mexicano, being here in LA, being from Long Beach?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely this idea of like there being a Mexican immigrant in the spotlight in a big city with a bunch of other Mexicans, and he's on cereal boxes, he's on, he's everywhere. you sometimes would think or question that maybe, at some point he was exploited. You question it just because it's like how many other Mexican immigrants living in Los Angeles, living with a bunch of other Mexicans, get exploited.
Yeah.
So there's always that question, and that's kind of like why I kind of chose Fernando.
Do you ever
my interest? Because I kind of related to Fernando. He was a hero to us growing up.
He played in San Antonio. San Antonio used to be the AA team. They used to have
which
the
one?
San Antonio Dodgers.
They
used to be the San Antonio Dodgers.
Oh,
in the
that's
80s.
the Albuquerque Dukes.
No. Yes, another one. That was after San Antonio, I think.
Yeah.
Oral played on that team. LaDuca played it for the San Antonio Dodgers. So did Fernando was one of them.
Before he burst onto the scene.
Yeah, man. He went through
That's
San Antonio,
awesome.
right?
Think about
The connection
that
dude?
you probably had, or your community even.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, we used to go to VJQ Field, which was 2 blocks. It was on the campus of St. Mary's University. They basically used their baseball facility to have the San Antonio Dodgers play, and eventually the San Antonio Missions. And we grew up 2 blocks from there. But Fernando Mania was a little too early. But I remember for me. But like,
do you know there's Fernando Valenzuela records?
No. You have them?
I have some,
Dude.
that I've come across.
What are they?
They're
What do you-
like songs in honor
Of Fernando? Damn.
Yeah.
Dang, that reaches Fernando.
We
Mania
have to
reaches-
listen to that.
Yeah,
later
we
in
do.
it.
Yeah,
I
we
will
do.
play for you.
Yeah, we do. Quick question though.
But that's how big of a star he was. Like, they were putting out records about Fernando. Like, that's big.
Do you think? I mean, for a lot of people that don't know, there's a background that involves Dodger Stadium, the property, them
Yes.
moving to LA. The process of getting that property
Yes.
involved a very, very
Evicting people. and
yes,
pushing them
the
out.
use of eminent domain. Like if you didn't fall for the
They
lie,
drag those people out of their homes.
there's a backstory that involves Dodger Stadium and creating that free property for the group.
Yeah.
They evicted a lot of Chicanos, a lot of Mexicanos,
Yeah.
Jewish people, everybody that lived on that hill.
I read and researched all that.
Yes.
When I was in school.
Yeah. Do you think this was the Dodgers' way of kind of regaining that
Trust.
Yeah.
I think
Hiding?
I mean, I think it definitely didn't hurt it. Like it benefited the Dodgers having a player like Fernando on the team for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people that
Aside from winning games, from being as good as he
but,
was.
Hey, for people that are baseball fans, like they'll forgive real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Like people are that die hard, Dodger fans, especially out here that are Latinos. So I mean, man, that's
a tough one.
he won the people over. The Dodgers just benefited from it financially.
Yeah, I think his connection with the people was very genuine. The dude resonated with a ton of people here because there's a lot of people that were like that. They came from Mexico trying to find places, trying to find their spots, grind it out and make it. Some people make it. This dude made it and owned it.
See, here's the thing about sports. It's like you have all these anti-immigrant people, but who love their Red Sox, but who love their Cowboys or whatever team they root for. And those dudes are immigrants too, the people on the team.
Well, you look at the cultures that are embedded with them. Like you think Boston Red Sox, you think, a lot of Irish? Like a lot of...
Community.
Yeah, there's like a lot of that stuff there. You think down here.
It's closer to the European side of the country, I guess, geographically. I mean, it is, but sports kind of transcends that because people don't care if their team's winning games based on these immigrant players. Oh, they're all about them.
Yeah.
But as soon as, it's someone that they're singling out on the news or, this whole wall thing and everything that's going on right now, as soon as they're not on the team anymore, they forget real quick. People forget. That's a problem. That's a problem with America because America is like, yes, this is great melting pot, right? All these races coming together and being here. And it's, this great country. But it also, like people slowly, I think, lose their culture and their identity after so many generations being here. And that's a problem with racism is that people forget that they were once immigrants too.
Yeah, man.
Generations deep. You're talking about how many generations?
I mean, migration
and people forget
to this land started, the 1400s, 1500s. There were people here before. They get moved out. People go through. I even did my homework on on the Alamo, just because I like that idea of Texas was its own little solito property.
Yeah.
It wasn't a state yet. but it also kind of sort of started pulling away from being Mexican. You know, they were fighting for their own independence, and it started with the migration of people from America. So I guess they kind of turned into Anglo-Texans, and it's basically, you kind of see it now, and you look at gentrification, you know, slow migration of people that are kind of sort of testing the waters to see how far they can go in to get stuff without getting a pushback. And eventually in the early 1820s, I think that's when the Mexican government couldn't push back all of the migration. Anglo-Texans outnumbered Mexican Texans by, I think, 10-1.
Wow.
Yeah, it grew pretty quick. And then that eventually caused people from DF, from Mexico City, to have to go and try to kind of implement these laws, try to enforce them.
Try to control it.
A lot of those people that came to that part of Texas wanted to assimilate into the United States.
Right.
But Mexico and America had a treaty where it's like, hey, you know, you don't mess with me. It was part of their deal, right? No war, no nothing like that. That's what led to a war where you have Texans that want to be free. They don't want to be part of Mexico. They don't want to be part of, they don't want to take in Catholicism. They don't want to take in the Mexican laws. They want to be their own, right?
Right.
And essentially that's where Santa Anna comes up with his army. They have an issue at the Alamo. That's where the Alamo comes into play. They take over the Alamo, and then they go on to battle in San Jacinto, which is not too far. That's where a lot of Texans kind of got fired up, and the idea of remembering the Alamo was like, wait, no, we don't want these people to take over our land. And, you know.
The irony of all that is that these people came and were immigrants at one point.
Yes. Exactly.
So it's just ignorance, really. It's ignorance. Like, you can't incriminate people that were like your family too. Like, you know,
it doesn't make sense.
Like, you just don't remember it. We do, because we're first generation. Well, I'm first generation. So like, I see that struggle. Like, I lived through that struggle. You know, my parents were Mexican immigrants.
On the grind, trying to
make it here. And it's hard to make it here. And for someone that has a middle school education to leave their home into this foreign country and have to make it, takes a lot of hard work.
Yeah, dude. Kudos to your parents.
Yeah.
For real. That's hard, man. That's a grind.
I mean, you talk about tough.
Oh, that's the definition, man.
That's
to make it in this world like that.
They say, it's the American dream, like, you know, anyone can make it. Yeah, but I mean, it's not saying it's still not hard. You know, it's still, everything goes up, and a lot of people's salaries don't really go up.
No, man. No.
And if they do, very little.
Yes.
So
kind of get stuck, almost greenwashed in a sense.
Man, so
I like to.
It's a struggle. Like, look, me, I was born here. I went to school.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to go to school, to go to grad school, and it's still hard for me. I mean, it's still hard to find a job, even with any degree.
But just
I still have to make it too. You know, it's still hard.
But just because you have the degree doesn't mean you have to like get in it like that. Right?
No,
like,
there's different ways to get in it. There's all this debt, you know, too. I mean, there's a lot of people that there aren't any jobs for, you know.
And you don't have to go to school to get in debt.
No.
No, man.
School definitely, I mean, it's helped. It's helped me, I think.
Where do you want to go with it now? Like, is this where you thought you would go with your degree, or?
I mean, my degree is always going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, as far as my education, my abilities, what I learned is never going to go away.
Yeah.
I mean, for me right now, I think definitely DJing, and it's funny because I started DJing or collecting records and going on 11 years ago. Damn. When I moved to San Francisco, because I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
So I bought turntables, and I was like, well, fuck.
Damn.
I'm going to buy music anyway, so I might as well just own the physical copy. I just started collecting music. I like the idea of having a library of just wall to wall, just like, instead of books, it's the same thing. It's just music, you know. It's no different than books.
It's got history. It's got knowledge. It's got everything. It's got words. I've never equated that. That's amazing.
Now that I kind of like have leaned more toward that, I have these opportunities to play music at places and get paid. And that's a plus for me. And I've definitely spent a lot of time and energy there. It's kind of pulled me that way, and it keeps pulling me that way because I constantly have these events or gigs that I'll play.
Yeah.
And I like to prepare for those. But I definitely, the plan is kind of find a balance between that and creating like artwork or drawings and paintings. So I got to find that balance. I've kind of have struggled a little bit with that. I've made things when I've had to, or when I have ideas that I want to kind of like just.
But it almost seems like you're indulging in being a DJ, in collecting vinyl, in sharing it, because that's what you love right now.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of what this thing that you kind of just fall into and you just dig in.
Yeah, man.
Deeper into, like you're still learning. It takes years to be like, and it's challenging and it's fun and it's it's expressive in a way, but definitely drawing has always been there for me. So anytime I go to it, like it's something that I know, like it's never gone away.
Yeah.
It's something that was with me since I was a little kid.
Yeah,
like
man.
I always drew.
Yeah.
Like that was my thing my whole life. I was told that I was a good drawer, so I just kept doing it.
Cool. You're nurtured. You're kind of nurtured.
Yeah. I was always told like, oh yeah, you should keep drawing, draw. And I did my whole life. And when you're young and you're doing it and people tell you, oh, like, you should keep doing it.
Yeah.
You're really good. You just keep going with it,
You are into things that were there before you even existed.
Right.
But then you also have people that created that or curated that or, were there when it happened that are critical of a younger generation even messing with it.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of like in between.
Okay.
Like that.
How do you respect the tradition but progress it?
That's the art. That's the hard part. That's the finding the creative ways to kind of make that work or happen. Like you have to find, any idea has to be resolved or executed, and finding the way to kind of get from point A to point B, like that in between, that's where the art, the creative mind, the problem solving comes into play. So making a drawing, making a sculpture, mixing two records, like it's that kind of gray area where the magic or the ideas happen, That's the thing about art. It's like trying to take, like you said, like traditional and making it modern. Like that's the challenge.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that really. Is just kind of like.
Or maybe you don't know the verbiage, but maybe you know the creative aspect.
Yeah. Like I would have to have an idea or something that I'm interested in, and knowing that I was going to kind of transform that idea into something either physical or in other different formats. Yeah. It all depends.
Do you find that to be a responsibility?
No, because it's not a responsibility, because a lot of those things.
Well, because you can piss off the original, the people that were there making that, but then you can also.
You want to do it in a way where it's obviously not stepping on anyone's toes, or it could be anything really. You record a mix, you upload it on the SoundCloud. Are there copyright infringements there? I own the actual physical music. I paid for it, and I'm kind of utilizing it almost like a performance,
Because otherwise that song would be just that song.
Right.
Right?
It's not with a group or a collection of others. It's more of it's a bigger picture, I think, than just being one single
3-minute kind of thing.
You can't have pink without red and white. You
Awesome.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need more. And that's the thing about art. It's you make something and people see it and they have their own interpretation. And that's the other aspect of art that's kind of magic, because you don't know. They could think of something that you never thought of.
All right, last question, but you have to answer this in one word. Do you know where Coco Rodriguez is?
I don't know. Last I heard, he was in Mexico, back home, but I don't know. He could be dead. I don't know.
So the answer's no.
I know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the time, Doc.
I don't know what it is. I hope he comes back.
So much Long Beach in this episode. Thank you to another LBC dude, Rudy de Anda, for letting us use his song, The Mirror. Links to the vinyl, streaming platforms, and the music video can be found in the description below. And of course, thank you to our guest, Eduardo Gomez, for the hangs, and for sharing some of the detail that goes into his creativity. For a link to a special FONDO Eastside Oldies mix, or to see the legacy of Coco Rodriguez, head over to calibear.com. That's CALIBEXAR.com. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and all that other fun stuff. And of course, you can find us on Facebook, the Gram, and Twitter. Just search Calibear on all those social media platforms. I'm Adrian Huerta, and you've been listening to On the Inside Looking In.